don't know. Never, I've never thought about how I have acted in personal life, and is there anything that I've carried through from my project management experience. But what I've come to realize is, even in personal life, I tend to be more grounded because I know that anything is limited by constraints.
Hmm. Hmm.
You can't expect everything in life. You are
Hmm.
limited by certain constraints, and constraints could be anything. It can be multivariant, in fact. So that's something. And also the fact that, based on my project management activities, where there is a level of paranoia, right? You want to
Right.
execute the project well, you're thinking about everything that can go wrong. So that
Yeah.
thing comes and plays a role in your personal life as well. You try to think through many things as to what are the various ways a certain sequence of events can pan out.
Hi. Welcome to Monday Management Talk Season 2. My name is Dinesh Sabnani, and I am on a mission to help corporate professionals to make their next career move in project management. For the folks who are watching this series for the first time, Monday Management Talk is a project management series. And in this season, we are inviting folks who have built great careers in the field of project management. Today, with having an immense career in the field of information technology, our guest has excelled in the field of project management and have led many large programs. In this conversation, we will see how these big successes are achieved by having simple habits to spend a day as a project manager. And friends, we have gone even deep to see how we project managers stay humble to deliver within constraints. So I wish you to watch this episode till the end. Ladies and gentlemen, help me in welcoming Adarsh Umapathy. Hey Adarsh,
Hey Dinesh, how are you?
yes, thank you very much for joining this meeting, and glad that I'm having you in this meeting, especially after seeing you so many years and you have grown up in our organization so fast. I was really thinking about knowing how you have done and excelled in project management, and not exactly projects. I have seen you leading so many large scale programs, which I believe that no one else I have seen in ever. So basically, I just wanted to invite you to have a good talk with you, getting to know more from you what exactly is your journey all about. Over to you.
Hey, first of all, glad to be here, and thanks for the kind words. I'm happy to be here and help the community as much as I can. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, can we just start with your journey, how you started and how you got into project management?
I started my journey in the IT field in 2002. Mm, So, as with any fresh college graduate, I joined a services company. And mostly in India, when we join a services company, we join as a software engineer. So that was my start of the journey. Started off as a software engineer and did coding and development for a while. And one thing that is common in services company is, as you start performing, you start taking up more responsibilities relatively soon. So
Right.
from a developer, quickly moved on to a module lead, and then from a module lead, I started taking up the project lead activities. And once I started taking up the project lead activities, that was a good segue to core project management. So it's been now close to, like I said, 20 years in the IT field, and about 13 to 14 years doing project management activities. I've had the good fortune of being a project manager in India and several other countries like Canada, USA, Australia, Spain. So I have a good view of what it takes to lead and deliver projects across the globe.
Great. Can you just tell us when you thought of getting into project management after spending approximately 7 years of your career? What exactly steps you took to get into project management?
See, in my case, mostly it was a career path. It happened that way. Like I said, once you start off as a software engineer, and then the next progression is a module lead. So you lead a module of a few developers, and as you start doing that job well, the next logical progression is for you to be a project lead. And once you become a project lead, you become responsible for not only what you do, but you have to deliver a small project. It initially starts with a smallish kind of a project, and if once you start establishing yourself and delivering what you're supposed to deliver, we get opportunities to deliver larger projects. And that's exactly what happened with me. Started off as a module lead responsible for a fairly significant module in an application, and once that was delivered, then people said, okay, look, there's another project coming in, we want you to lead this project. And then through sequence of events, you become the project lead over there, and once you deliver that project, then larger and larger, more complex engagements come your way, and that's how you become a project manager.
Sure. Yep. So, what is a definition for you for a small project and a large project?
Hmm. See, a small project, when we talk about the definition of projects, there are several ways that you can define them. One is duration. Is a project less than 3 months in duration? Do you think you'll be able to complete the project within 3 months? A small project. 3 to 6 months, medium scale project. Anything beyond 6 months is a big project. The other way to look at it is, what's your team size? Do you
Hmm.
have a team size of 4 or 5 people? Small project. Six to
Hmm.
10 people, medium project. More than 10 people, complex project. Then you also have the financial aspect of it. So is it about 100 to 200K, 100 to 200,000 dollars project? Then it's a small project. 200 to 500,000 dollar project, it's a medium project. And anything beyond 500,000 or over a million, then for me personally, I consider that as a large project.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep, definitely. And that answers really well. Um, what do you think? What are the expectations from a project manager role in a corporate setup?
See, the expectation is fairly straightforward. You are responsible for delivering an outcome, and that's your primary and that's your only responsibility. There are various means to the end. It
Mm-hmm.
is up to you as a project manager, what means do you choose to achieve that end. But at the end of the day, without any excuses, you have to deliver the project within your budget, within the time, and within the quality that you've agreed. So that's the expectation for delivering a project. At the end of the day, like I said earlier, it's the
Mm-hmm.
outcome. You're responsible for delivering the outcome with the resources that you have.
Mm-hmm.
You'll not always have the all the resources that you would ideally want, but then you still have to go and deliver the outcome.
So far, as you said, like these are all the expectations that comes, right? And anybody who is starting fresh as a project manager, if these are all the expectations which are put forth, then what do you think should be the right approach to start a project or to attempt any project in a corporate setup?
Good question, Dinesh. So if you're starting a project, there are some things it is better that you learn about it sooner than later.
Yeah.
Okay. It would be good for you to understand and appreciate the constraints that you would be working in. So
Mm-hmm.
you know what kind of resources you have, what kind of finances do you have to deliver the project, what kind of any other technical limitation, human resource limitation that you might have. Because once you understand your limitations well, it allows you to navigate the project in a way that is more thought through. You
Yeah.
expect certain things and you're ready to face those challenges as as they appear. So understand the constraints to start off with. Then start looking at what does a successful outcome look like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can give you some examples where one might consider a project delivered, but then when you look whether it was a successful outcome or not, even
Right.
in my own career, when I look back and think, was that a successful outcome?
Mm-hmm.
You'll have certain doubts. So quickly understand what a successful outcome looks like. And it's always good that you have this confirmed by some of the key stakeholders within the project, saying that,
Right.
okay, if you do these things, and this is what I consider as a successful outcome, do you agree to it? And if
Sure.
they agree, then all your steps after that will have to go towards making that happen. Okay,
Sure.
knowing your consideration, know what a successful outcome is. It is like a journey from point A to B, and
Right.
as you're traversing this journey, you know that you're constrained by certain things, and you know exactly what point B is. Point B is your successful outcome. So that's what I would say.
Correct. Yeah, and that covers the full breadth of delivery, of what exactly looked like when you are sitting as a center point of the project and really facing the customer and being a face of your company as well.
Yep,
Right.
exactly.
Taking the conversation to the lighter side, how is your day in life as a project manager?
See, my day in the life starts the previous night,
Okay.
because before I get to sleep, I visualize what that day would look like. What are the
Mm-hmm.
things that need to get accomplished? So
Mm-hmm.
once I have that in mind, this is normally this is what happens. So I know when I go to sleep, I know that okay, tomorrow at the end of the day, I would like to have these three, four, five, six, seven things accomplished,
Sure.
and that allows me to kind of mentally prepare myself while I sleep. Probably unconsciously, my mind is preparing myself for that. And when
Right.
I get up in the morning, I know exactly what needs to be done, and then
Mm-hmm.
one by one, those things try to get those things knocked off, those tasks knocked off, speaking to the people to get things done. So
Right.
that's where it starts. It usually starts the day before,
Day
the
before.
night.
Mm, that's a really different answer which I got. Actually, I have never received such an answer. And yeah, and that also brings out a trait of a project manager, that we all have to be proactive before anybody else thinks us about the situations that may come in the project. We may have to like and anticipate of them, right? And for that, this mantra I think definitely works, that if you think all of your work a day before, basically a night before, you might be having more control on your projects, right? uh, Proceeding to that, what do you think you have takeaways from this role for your personal life?
Okay, I don't know. Never, I've never thought about how I have acted in personal life, and is there anything that I've carried through from my project management experience. But what I've come to realize is, even in personal life, I tend to be more grounded because I know that anything is limited by constraints.
Hmm. Hmm.
You can't expect everything in life. You are
Hmm.
limited by certain constraints, and constraints could be anything. It can be multivariant, in fact. So that's something. And also the fact that, based on my project management activities, where there is a level of paranoia, right? You want to
Right.
execute the project well, you're thinking about everything that can go wrong. So that
Yeah.
thing comes and plays a role in your personal life as well. You try to think through many things as to what are the various ways a certain sequence of events can pan out. What
Correct.
could be the places where something might fail, and then you start thinking through it, and then start coming up with various scenarios. If this happens, then do what? If that happens, then do what? So a lot of if else scenarios come into play, and then
Yeah.
the paranoia that you have while executing a complex project. I don't, in personal life, I've never been paranoid, but the fact is, I always think through what are the various things that can happen, what
Right.
what are the things that may go well, may not go well. So those are the things I probably unconsciously have carried forward from my professional life, unwittingly, into my personal life.
Definitely. And that's exactly we all feel about, like, we have certain responsibilities to carry out as a project manager, right? And whatever areas that we are dealing with inside project management, it's some or the other way, how we react to such situations in personal life, maybe that way or a different way may behave in our corporate life as well, right? Have you thought of having a mentor, or you have any mentors for you to scale up to this particular position?
See, mentors, is a very important topic. I don't know if you have used Google Scholar. The phrase in Google Scholar is standing on the shoulders of giants. This is
Mm-hmm.
what mentors are. They are the giants in your life. Now,
Right.
again, when we talk about mentors, you have different types of mentors all
Mm.
through your life, not necessarily in project management itself. You have somebody who you respect because they do their job so well.
Correct.
You see that they're so great at their job. You have some people, you respect them because of the hard work that they've put in. Again, I'm talking through my personal experience where, as growing in this journey, I've come across people who have been very good just because they're smart about how they do things.
Right.
Then I've seen some people who have done amazingly well, who, although I would not call them very smart, but the sheer amount of hard work that they put in have
Mm-hmm.
taken them into places.
Right.
Then there are some people who have seen that they blend both together. And
Mm.
then there are people who have this amazing ability to connect with people.
Right.
So not only will people, not only will they get things done, but not only for themselves but for others as well. So you have the people who have this. So when we talk about a mentor,
Right.
it cannot, it may not be, I don't want to say cannot be, because everybody is different. It need not be a single person who can offer all these things. So it's
Right.
all about what do you learn from somebody that you interact with. What do you learn from somebody, just the way that, like I said, somebody who I know is not the smartest person
Right.
technically maybe, but the amount of hard work, the amount of diligence, the amount of perseverance that they put in at a particular endeavor, that gives them great results, and it gets appreciated, and people have done amazingly well for themselves. And then there are some people who know when to talk, what to talk, and to whom to talk.
Right.
That's taken them amazingly well. Then there are people who have a way of doing things. I mean, if
Right.
I think back, I know people, just even when I think about it, it brings a smile on my face, because the innovative ways that they would do, jugaad ways, what we call in the
Sure.
Indian context, where people have a way of getting things done. I still remember that a long time back. I think this was probably when I was a developer. This is what 18, 19 years ago.
Yeah.
So designing a website, so people to see whether things were aligning properly.
Right.
You'd have a notepad, and then you'd take the notepad, superimpose this, and see if the alignment was proper. These are not big things, but the fact
Yeah.
that in that moment to
Yeah.
quickly establish that certain things is done, the way that the mind works, right? So
Exactly.
then there are some people who do it in a different way, but then there are people who do it in a smart way. So as you grow in your career, you meet several people, a lot of
Right.
people, and everybody is a giant in their own way,
Right.
especially if they've been there before you, which means
Mm-hmm.
that they've seen more than you. And then
Mm-hmm.
you might not like everything about a person, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
I've seen. You need not have to appreciate or really like everything about a person, but there are qualities, there will definitely be qualities that, if not anything, you should appreciate it. Like,
Yeah.
you see that different people bring in different things to what they're doing, and that's what mentorship is about. Even if you don't have a formal mentor mentee relationship, the fact that you're learning from them, you talk to them,
Yeah.
and that, as long as you're learning, that's what matters.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you for that answer. And what would be your advice for the upcoming project managers who are just getting into this particular profession or actually want to prepare for this profession?
My advice for people who are already there in the profession, then I'll talk about people who want to get into the profession.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about diligence and perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said earlier, we all have an outcome to achieve
Right.
as a project manager. And to reach that outcome, you're constrained by several factors. So,
Mm-hmm.
understand these two things very well, and then try to navigate in the best possible manner, understanding these two aspects of a project, the
Mm-hmm.
outcome and the constraints. So that would be for people. And as you're navigating this, you'll see that perseverance, diligence plays an important role. thinking about it day in and day out. Like I said, right, earlier I said I sleep thinking through what's going to happen next day.
Right.
Sometimes if it's a more complex thing, what's going to happen next week, what
Right.
should happen next week. So
Mm.
you can have a view, not only a 1 day view, you can have a 1 week view, a 1 month view. It's always about thinking what are the things that plays a very important role. And it's also very important for the project manager to have a level of qualification, not degree kind of a qualification, a mental capacity to be able to do everything that the project team members are doing. Not necessarily to the level of depth that they're doing, but you must be able to have a conversation to with everyone. It
Right.
could be with the architect, it could be with a developer, it could be with a UI person, it could be with the business analyst. Obviously, you need to talk to the customer, so that's a given.
Definitely.
But
Yeah.
even beyond that, it's always, in my view, it's always beneficial that as a project manager, you must have the confidence and you must have the capability to have these conversations, at least to what we call as a level 100 or a level 200
Sure.
on any subject. So
Mm.
that really helps because not only it not only enhances your credibility within the project, because as a leader you need to be credible,
Right.
but also the fact that you step into the other person's shoes
Right.
and you can understand what kind of challenges that they're facing and how, using your experience, you can help them overcome that by giving some solutions, by
Right.
telling them what needs to be done in a different way. Because
Mm.
there's a lot of things that we would have gathered, like we are we are gathering a lot of knowledge as we go through in our life, and some of these knowledge can be used in a way that can solve a problem in a said instance. So that's
Yeah.
something that I would advise a person who's already in the project management community.
Yep.
On the other hand, if you are trying to get into a project management thing, into the project management field, there are certain courses which are very good courses. PMI's PMBOK is very good, although it's very verbose, and now that we're going into the agile mode, away from the waterfall mode. But even then, it's a good idea to go through it because
Sure.
in a very academic way,
Yeah.
they've put across all the elements of project management very academically.
Sure.
And it is good that you have sound foundations.
Correct.
And once you have these foundations in place, then you can use those foundations and mold what you have learned over there to the way it benefits you.
Sure.
And then once you've taken that, you'll have to develop a style of your own.
Mm.
Okay, I've seen project managers in the past who are extremely diligent, who say
Mm-hmm.
that okay, if it's a waterfall model, they have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
They are very regimented, saying that okay, this plan, this task needs to be done now. Similarly, in a sprint, somebody says that okay, this is the effort that you estimated, you have to get this done,
Sure.
and then they're very regimented. Then there are certain project managers I've seen that they treat it more as an art.
Correct.
Okay, the plan has several things, but
Mm.
a project manager knows that there are certain things in the plan which are not as important as the others.
Correct.
So you'll see that those kind of project managers, even though they know that a certain task is not being done, but if you
Mm.
fully know what the task is and what it means to the end outcome,
Yeah.
you have a way where you can say, okay, I understand that's taking some time. It's not as important. It's there in the
Correct.
plan, but
Yeah.
it's not as important. So there are people. So you have to develop your own style, which says what do you want to do. I've seen good project managers on both sides of the aisle. I've seen project managers who are very regimented. They say that okay, look, there's the plan. This needs to be done now. I've
Yeah.
seen project managers who treat it more as a art, and they say that look,
Mm.
I understand there are certain things. What are
Mm.
the ways that we can go around it and make sure that we still achieve the end outcome?
Mm. Definitely. And I think that's a nag of it, right? Like, and that's something you develop by time. Basically,
Yeah,
for any upcoming project manager, they might go by the book of whatever they have learned. In fact, they have followed. the waterfall model or the agile model, right? They try to go by the book, but
Mhm.
over the period of time, when they have a habit formed of managing projects, right, then it becomes an artist game where exactly how you pull the triggers or where to talk exactly and what kind of networking channels you can use to basically influence your project and have bright colors out of the project, right?
Yes.
um, Adarsh, one last question: where people can find you if they want to get mentored by you?
I am available on LinkedIn. I'll share my LinkedIn URL with you. I'm happy for people to connect to me. They can message me. I try to respond to the extent that I can, and then I'll be happy to help this community to in whatever capacity that I can.
Definitely. Thank you very much for that. And thank you very much for coming in this particular meeting and having a talk about this. I'm sure the upcoming project managers are going to learn a lot from this particular video. We have taken a deep dive, friends, into this particular topic with Adarsh today, and definitely you're going to have lots of takeaways from this particular video. So, thank you, Adarsh, for taking out time today and doing this meeting.
Thank you for having me here, Dinesh. Appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. So, friends, thank you for watching this episode till the end. This was Adarsh Umapathy sharing his experience in the field of project management. If you want to connect with Adarsh, check the LinkedIn profile link of him given in the description. In case you need more clarification or have doubts in the field of project management and you want to know how to start a career in project management, then I am available for a one on one session on how to start a career in project management. The link to book the meeting is given on the screen and as well as in the description. Please share your feedback and your comments and let us know how you are liking this series. Please do subscribe, comment, like, and share this video with at least one person so that it benefits to the community. Again, thank you for watching this video till the end. I will be coming up with one more episode very soon. Till then, goodbye and wish you more power and success.